doing this.
It's the expression, time heals all wounds. I think time has done a lot. And I think she is the key to Olivia.
I could not agree more. Always has been.
And I was pleased that Olivia was blasé about you having it when you considered.
I'm shocked.
And I talked with her that, you bought Olivia a red Ocean City sweatshirt, which she accepted until you bought one that was identical. And
what do you mean?
Probably in Goodwill somewhere. You knew that?
No, I didn't know that story.
She's never worn it again.
Well, I've worn mine so much that I got another one.
But the more,
when did she get rid of it? Because I bought one
you're always asking for details.
Well, because you keep not sharing them, so I was like, jeez.
I'm a big picture person.
So she got rid of the sweatshirt that I gave her because I bought one like it when I had, at the time, a way to scrape up $20 to buy a sweatshirt, and she found out that I bought one that I've worn all the time.
You're going into details, I don't know. But Joyce was aware of it.
Yeah.
I mentioned that to her, and she said that was interesting. And
interesting, like she forgot about it?
Conversation. Women talk and talk and talk.
Of course they do.
And men just don't talk. But
well, I do, but
evidently, between mother and daughter, she must have made the comment on that we're going to wear it again, and she never wore it again. But certainly their attitude is based on their personal observation of the divorce and the animosity that you have for their mother and the grief and pain, rightly or wrongly, that she suffered during those several years of conflict.
I totally agree.
And added to that is your, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe there's some psychological word. I'm not quite sure I want to use the word obsessive, but that might be the best word, particularly with Olivia, of being obsessive and your attempts to communicate with her. That I made the comment to Joyce that I had said to you that, if you would just send her a nice something every 3 weeks, she might read it. But right now, you have so bombarded her with email communications, she really doesn't read any of them. She might, depending upon her time frame, just glance at something. She didn't read the one that was inference of derogatory terms, Joyce, and
what, this one about August 28th of 2013?
I think that's the one that
she actually read that, and she didn't read anything else.
You get into details. This is a very short conversation.
I'm amazed Joyce hasn't sued me for that one, which I would welcome.
I was just picking up little pieces of evidence, and she was not at all holding back with me, but she was driving the car and I was in CVS and my phone was not working very well, so I was just picking up pieces. But the other things that she said, which I pass on, which I think is interesting, is she says, and of course, she's not living with you like Kathy is,
right.
But she says that you've changed. And
how have I changed?
First of all, in the early years of the marriage, in all those wonderful experiences that you were the leader and the instigator of, she shared in that with enjoyment. When the alcohol came, you changed, and today your, again, obsession is, I think you've always been obsessive things, and that's certainly a positive part of your personality, to the extent that you were the instigator and the implementer of that slaughterhouse.
Right.
That 1,000 people have driven by it and have done nothing to it.
Right.
You were the guy that said this shouldn't be here, and took the step and completed it.
Right.
It was an amazing accomplishment, which a lot of people recognize that you did. But,
Including Joyce, who brought her class there for the whole big thing. That was
okay.
pretty neat.
Somewhere in the kids' mind, they must have memories of this, and the scenario you did from birth was, I thought, extremely well done. Now, to what extent that would have caught their interest, I can't conceive that they are blank in all the wonderful experiences that they had when they were younger. Certainly, maybe not at birth. But
how much do you remember from your childhood experiences?
Not many.
Well, then.
But if when I was 20 years old, I think I would have had
maybe, but you also didn't go through trauma, so you had an amazing, idealistic, picture-perfect childhood, and even now you don't remember them at the age of 83. And you're saying to me, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, that you had like some memories in your 20s before you went on to the world and got married and you had kids and you had a career and everything else.
Sure.
But so why should you expect Christian Olivia at the age of 22, embarking on an amazing life, to want to bring up the past when it causes trauma? The way that the human psyche deals with survival is to block that away. Now, I can handle all this because I've been through all this. I've been through the valley. I've gotten 2 DUIs. I've been in jail. I've been to a million different AA meetings. I talk with all kinds of support groups. I walk from the White House to the Supreme Court and lots of other things. Not many people are willing to address all that, let alone beg their father at 83 for $7,000 to buy a car and to convince a loving person that could have gotten rid of me any day, a million different times, yet still wants to be with me. And her biggest concern is losing me as a relationship because I'm mad at her. I mean, to me, this is like, wow. And she's worried about coming up with, it just cracks me up. But I have to realize that I need to hit the pause button, and I need to realize that people need to be able to come to their own terms at the time that they're ready to come to terms, which apparently in Joyce is 9 years later, which is just, I'm like, all right, whatever. So I hope that you're right, but I don't know, because Joyce probably wants to, Joyce got rid of her own brother and his family and the kids. Not normal people don't do that, Dad.
She wants to move on. But,
well, she has moved on. The question is, I have nothing but love.
For a lot, but there's some things that you can't, and now maybe she doesn't feel this way, but I remember almost the exact words that she said to you, not to me, but I was a witness, in the Wade driveway, that eyeball to eyeball, she says she looks forward to the day in which Olivia is married and you walk her down the aisle.
Well, it's kind of hard to do that when she's so indoctrinated Olivia to hate me and to throw away sweatshirts and everything else.
No, that was at a point prior.
That was at December of 2012 when she filed one PFA and then filed another one a week later, which you just totally dismissed like that didn't happen.
All right. Now, what you don't, I think, understand or appreciate is that at that point in time, she was and needed to be defensive for herself and defensive for her perception of the deeds for her children. We've talked numerous times about being a mama bear.
Sure.
And that's a simple way of saying it. And at this point, that point in time, you were the wolf and she was the mama bear. And at the direction of attorneys that she paid for,
right,
in pain, in dollars, she had to take the advice of the attorneys, which is to maximize the lock on you, and once that is obtained, you can back off from it.
But she never did.
Well, she did, to the extent that she, on her own, made a settlement with you, with Kathy.
That was not until 2018, Dad.
Well, how many other divorces go
All right.
on? It's not a pleasant experience.
All right. You're right, in the grand scheme of things.
And
But that said, you're talking about the life of a young, impressionable kid from the age of 10 to 18. Those are the most critical periods of a person's life, Dad. Seriously, think about what became you from the age of 10 to 18. And you can't just wave a magic wand and make it all better.
well, there was that total period of time until final papers were signed, where she can say, it's over. And from that point,
But she continued to graduation, so it wasn't over until it's still not over. But I'm glad that you think that it's over, and maybe it is. Maybe Joyce is coming around, and that all right. She educated her kid, kind of like Ivanka Trump did with Donald. I took care of the kids, and they're educated, and now they're all yours, Donald.
I think
Maybe that's what'll
I
happen.
think it can be done, but I think a lot of it, obviously, because this is your desire, without being cruel. If you were dead right now, Joyce would be in the same position.
Yeah, well, she does consider me dead. Sure, I get that.
Okay, so, but you're not, and
Well, at least as of today, I might be dead tomorrow.
well, we could all be dead
Yeah,
tomorrow.
well, exactly. A lot of people don't want to deal with mortality. I'm okay if I die right now. I really am.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Well, you're looking pretty old right here as much as you're doing your stuff. I mean, you're not
gonna
doing
be
what you used to.
volunteering. But so my point is that if something is, if it is to happen, it is up to you. And my recommendation to you to attempt to make it happen is to back off. Certainly back off the bonanza of emails that you send to Olivia, and particularly, Austin, Chris, and limit your communications to, just congratulations and nice things. Here's a picture of something that you might enjoy, but the narration of these other experiences and the parent annihilation syndrome, she's not at this point interested in. But maybe at some point, she will go under analysis or self-analysis and read to try to better understand. But at this point, she's not trying to understand. She's got her own life. And I won't brag about this, but when I went to college, parents were, they were 120 miles away.
And there was no cell phones. It was really hard to get a phone.
I doubt if I sent birthday cards to my mother or father.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Birthdays were not a big thing to my family.
No, you certainly changed when you married Carol Duvall.
And I think back of my relationship with parents, and it was very selfish. I'm sure I hurt my father when I left him, but I wasn't really thinking of him. I was thinking of myself. And I was 30 years old then, I think, at that point. So kids, takes a long time for them to mature. Some mature quickly. Christian's very mature. I think
Seems to be.
Olivia, in her own world, is, I think, mature, but for where she is. But I don't think we can call her mature, because she's still into college life and getting good grades and enjoying the experiences, which she loves. She was, she originally talked about transferring from to Brown in her junior year, but she just loves Amherst. So I would guess that she will have a 4-year experience there. I don't know.
They will be her friends for life. I'm sure she's in an amazing place.
But she's very much into, even her roommate that she says that she has nothing in common. She enjoys the experience. She showed me a picture of her. She has a big afro haircut. And is into political science and probably African American studies if they have it. But that's my recommendation for the day.
All right, well, we'll see how things go.
But